Hey there, everybody, and welcome back to Reading Music for the Absolute Beginner. This is Lesson 3. If you haven't watched Lesson 1 and 2 yet, and you are an absolute beginner, then I would really recommend you go do that, because in this lesson, we're going to take what we learned in Lessons 1 and 2, and we're going to combine them. We're going to smack them together so that we can identify any note that we see on the treble clef staff, whether it is a line note, which was lesson 1, or a space note, which was lesson 2. So let's dive right in. This note that we're taking a look at right here, this is the top line note on our treble clef staff, and it's an F. This right here is the bottom line note of the treble clef staff, and it is an E. Now, in the alphabet, F comes right after E. So it might be a little confusing when I say that there are a whole bunch of notes in between E and F, but really what I'm talking about is all of the notes of the treble clef staff, which would be F, G, A, B, C, D, and E. Those all fall between E and F because E and F are a little over an octave apart. I know I said we wouldn't talk about the octave until later, but that is worth knowing, that the octave is called the octave because it's covering 8 different notes that occur between one note of a certain name, let's say E, right? That E to the next E. We've covered 8 different names of notes, actually 7 with one being repeated. So let me do that one more time and show you what I'm talking about. So here's E, bottom line note, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, right? So E to E, 8 notes in between. And there are actually lots more pitches. That's why you saw those sharps popping up there. But we'll talk about chromatic alterations later on. And I know I keep saying we'll get there later, and we will. Just give it a little time, be a little patient with me. So we have covered how we get from E to E, and you might have noticed that we were following this pretty easy to predict pattern for a little while, right? We went from E to F to G to H. Wait, no, we didn't go to H. H is not in the musical alphabet. The musical alphabet goes from A to G, and then it starts over again. So if you were going to sing the musical alphabet, you would really sing A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, because it gets to G and it starts over again. So next time someone asks what comes after G, I don't know if anybody is asking anybody else about the alphabet nowadays, but if anybody ever asks you what comes after G, you got to specify, like, do you mean the musical alphabet or do you mean the regular alphabet? Because if you mean the musical alphabet, there is no H. Unless, of course, you were in Germany, in which case H codes for B flat. And I know I said we won't talk about chromatic alterations, so just forget that for the moment. No H, A to G, and then you start over. So what does that mean for us when we're trying to figure out whether we are looking, basically what the name of the note is that we're looking at? Well, you got a few different possibilities, a few different options for figuring out what the note is called. Let's say I'm looking at this note. I can either think to myself, is it a line note or a space note? It's a line note, and then go, every good burger deserves fries. That's one possibility. It's 2 steps, right? Because you're adding this step to what we already know of deciding whether it's a line note or a space note. That note is on a line, so it's a line note. What if I'm looking at this note? I have to first decide, is that a line note or a space note? I know it's a space note because it is in between two lines. It is not intersecting with a line, it is in between two lines. So I can say that is a space note, and then I can count up. I can go F, A, C, E. It's definitely A because it is the second space note, and I know that the second space note is going to be the second letter of the word face. And again, if this is not making a whole lot of sense to you, go back to episode 2 in the series, because I'm assuming you already saw it. So if you didn't, maybe go back and we'll be on the same page. Now, what if I don't want a two-step process? What if I want to just know? Well, first of all, it's a good idea to memorize the stuff that you already learned. That line note, every good burger deserves fries, or whatever phrase you chose to use, and then space, face. But if you've got that under control, you could start to think about these notes in order, right? Because they do follow the order of the musical alphabet. So if you have a point to start from, if you always know that this is G, and the way that you would always know that that is G is by the fact that this is the G clef, a reminder, a throwback to episode 1. This is the G clef, and it centers on this line, the second line in the staff, which is G when you're in treble clef. So if you always know that that's G, then you can count up or down from G. That is your anchor point if you are comfortable always being able to call that G. What if that's not your anchor point? What if you always know that this is D? Well, that works too. That's totally fine. You know that if you go to the space note above that line note, it's going to be the next letter in the musical alphabet. So after D, we have E in the musical alphabet. So that's super easy. And what if you are at the space note below this note, which you can always identify as D? If you go to the space note below that, you're just going to have to go to the note that goes before D in the musical alphabet, which of course is C. It has that in common with the regular alphabet. The only way that the musical alphabet differs from the regular alphabet is that we stop at G and then we start over with A after that. We don't go to H. We don't go to I. Those don't exist in the musical alphabet. So really it's an easier alphabet than the regular alphabet. So with that, I think we have a strategy established. You can either do the two-step process of line note or space note. Okay, line note, every good burger deserves fries. Or line note or space note, okay, space, face. Or you can start to think about the musical alphabet and just go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and count the lines and spaces one after the other from your anchor note. Which if we say it's C, this is our anchor note, and we want to know what this is, we could just count down from C, right? So here's C. Before C is B in the musical alphabet. Before B is, that's right, A in the musical alphabet. And what comes before A in the musical alphabet? G, right? Because it starts over after G. And then before G in the musical alphabet, we of course have F. So I think that covers it. Hopefully that covers it. Let's go practice. Now we've got our possible two-step process where we have to decide, is this a line note or space note? It's a space note. And it's the first space note. I'm sorry, I skipped a step. It's the first space note. First space note is F. First letter of the word face. Here's another space note. This one would be the fourth letter of the word face, which is F-A-C-E. There you go. Here's another space note, F-A-C. Finally, a line note. Okay, so we can tell this is a line note because it's the note intersecting with a line, and we go, every good burger deserves fries, F. Now, let's say our anchor note is this G right here, because this is the G clef. This line is the G. So G up one to the next space, that's going to be A, because that's what comes after G in the musical alphabet. You get the idea. I would say do like 10 or 20 of these. Feel really comfortable with it. Get to the point where you can't get it wrong. Then submit your score report, get your grade, or just show off in the YouTube comments with your score report. And if you don't know what I'm talking about when I say score report, then go back to episode 1, go back to episode 2, figure out what we're talking about, because you're either on the bus or you missed it. So don't miss the bus. Go check out episodes 1 and 2. Good work. We'll see you next time.